Welcome to the JWK show. Thank you for tuning in. It is official. We have the XRP ETFs crossing $1 billion in total assets under management in just 2 weeks. That is a massive milestone and great to see, as this shows there is indeed a lot of demand for the XRP ETFs, right? So at the current pace, we could see in 1 year, right, 12 to 24 billion dollars of assets under management across the XRP ETFs. Now, from R3 as well, we have Ripple Partner, and we have from BG123, we have Swift using XRP through R3. R3 says, 1 year ago, few would have believed it's SEC chairman publicly breaking down tokenization, right? With Gary Gensler, that seemed impossible. But with a new chairman, Paul Atkins, we have the golden age of crypto now coming in, and predicting that markets will be on chain within 2 years. Now, all this is happening. We have mass adoption of tokenization and everything coming on chain within 2027 to 2028. Let's take a look at this video.
Tokenization is the idea of using then smart contracts or tokens on chain to be able to that represent, say, an underlying security, and so then that tokenized security is a security and would be subject to SEC rules by law. But the idea is that if it's on chain, on a blockchain, then there's much more transparency as to where it is. Right now, there's a bit of opacity as to who owns what, and where the company usually doesn't even know where its who its shareholders are, and where the shareholders reside, where the shares reside. So tokenization has the benefit of potentially having, instead of T+1 now, trade date +1 for clearance and settlement, the prospect of maybe T0 now, depending on the instrument. And we have to think about netting and all sorts of other things with respect to some instruments. But in principle, the idea of on-chain delivery versus payment and receipt versus payment, DVP, RVP on-chain, is a prospect of de-risking the markets, making them much more transparent and then sure as far as clearance and settlement, because it's always that the gap between clearance and settlement and then delivery and payment is the real introduces risk into the system.
Do you expect this is where financial services is going? Are the major banks and the brokers out there today moving increasingly toward tokenization?
Oh, absolutely. And it's the way the world will be, here in maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from now. So I think that all of this modernization of the markets, I think, is good. And the trouble that we've seen here over the past few years is that the SEC, unlike historically, it never was necessarily at the vanguard of pushing new innovations. It was always a little bit behind the market, of course. But here recently, it's been almost standing athwart the marketplace, and as it's as all these new innovations were coming about. So that's no more. We're actually embracing it, and I believe that we need to be embracing it to keep the United States at the forefront as far as cryptocurrencies and whatnot. There were really only 2 countries in the world here in the last few years that were working to make cryptocurrencies illegal, and that was Communist China and the U.S. through the SEC. So that's changed. It's a new day now, and so we want to embrace this new technology.
Big stuff. And now we have from Robert Kiyosaki, that is big breaking news. We have BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa announced the units, a gold-backed money. We were expecting this for a long time, as this was all foretold by the XRP insiders. And so we do have buy US dollar, as we do have the gold standard coming back. Gold, silver making a new all-time high, going parabolic. Now, instead of a dollar, we have something else coming in. That could be XRP or a digital dollar such as the RLUSD. But as of now, it seems like de-dollarization is still on the menu. And we have from Rift, as far as I know, the plan was and still is a sovereign debt reduction of 30 to 40% in order to nudge the population towards an asset-backed digital dollar, the digital counterpart to a physical asset-backed USN, right? So, guys, the 1% want us to use digital dollars. That way they can track all of the money movements. And we have this happening in 2026, and we also have the 2026 Global Digital Asset Regulation Timeline. We have the UK in Q1 2026, FCA expected to implement stablecoin regime under the Financial Services and Markets Act and related secondary legislation. Q2 2026, EU, MiCA Phase 2 expect to focus on remaining areas such as aspects of DeFi and NFTs. Subject to EU work program, we have XRP being MiCA compliance, and we also have EU focusing on DeFi and NFTs. Australia Q3 2026 comprehensive crypto licensing framework expected under ASIC following Treasury consultations, and by Q4 2026 we have in Canada proposed amendments to enable broader tokenized funds ETFs expected from securities regulators. So Canada also tokenizing their assets ETFs and so on. Canada following the US. And lastly, we have from Fox Business, and that is confirmation of the golden year in American economic history, unless we see some sort of random black swan event. So keep that in mind as well. We have confirmation from Kevin Hassett, the next potential Fed chairman, of a possible black swan event emerging out of nowhere
from all this higher productivity from AI. And so I think that we're looking at one of the golden years in American economic history, provided that we don't get some kind of random black swan disruption.
So first and second quarter,
as Trump said, we have the golden age of crypto coming in, and so we should see cryptos going parabolic in 2026. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.